Okay, welcome back. I guess the Japanese still have some fight in them. Losing that garrison unit hurts. Losing all that hurts. So lesson learned, as much as I said we have to move slow, the answer is still yes, you have to move slow. We still get 3 of these support units, and with that lesson learned, I am not able to go there yet because purple is covering it. I think this guy here only has a strength of 5, and I am worried but these are coastal units, so although this one at the top is not, but I'm going to attack. Well, no, hold on. I got to do engineer and stuff like that. So this HQ unit is going to go flip to be an actual HQ. I do lose the hero. So that part hurts a little bit, but that's okay. His, I don't think it matters which HQ command post I grab, but I'll grab the 2-2 because I think that is the correct one for him. Okay, so I have a command post here, and then there's a matching range. So there's this 2-2 range, and it goes up here to show that he has a range of 1. And then every time we hit this phase, it'll just move up automatically. And it doesn't matter, they all move up. This isn't like Omaha Beach where on the engineers, for example, you can only move up certain ones. It'll take time before his reach gets all the way to the end, but that's the idea. And I think he'll get some units moving pretty well with where he's located, and the other one can't do anything yet. So now we do our actions, and I still think I need to attack with him. So I'm going to attack. I reveal, and of course we get a DE and an FT. So if we look here, you can see this one has a DE, and the hero provides the flamethrower. It is not a building, so it's just a strength 2. We have double his strength with our 5. So we do reveal the depth marker, and he needs to be flanked. So he sucks. So, but we do disrupt him, and so we don't have to worry about him hitting us next turn. And I will use 1 action to move this guy down, and that will be the flank. And I am going to put a garrison down there. These guys here, all 3 of them are going to close combat this guy. Am I really going to do all 3? Oh, I don't know. There's a part of me that wants to go take out this orange guy who's a pain in the butt also. But yeah, all 3 of these are going to close combat him. So we get 2 pips, 4 pips, 6 pips against 2. So 2 cards for the Japanese, 6 cards for us. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so one of our US actions was used. Let's go over here. He's not disrupted anymore, so he goes first, and his color is purple. Okay, so nothing happens there. Then we go, and we got a purple. And so he's already eliminated. Don't need to do anything else. I know that was a lot of overkill, but I wanted him gone. And these, of course, go back onto the deck. So we do get disrupted, though, all of our units. So 1, 2, 3, but we can put a garrison now on that red spot. And you can see I'm getting extra paranoid about any spaces now that we leave open. So coming over to here, we can garrison this, but if a Japanese unit appears there, it can destroy our garrison. So we do have to be careful. Obviously this got more powerful because we were within 2 spaces of it, but he can't hurt us, so I'm not too worried. This one will lose his disruption marker. And then our HQ has units that can do things. What should they do? This one we can move. So we can like move him here, which is great. But then he's within 2 spaces of this, and then this can reinforce. You see how the dilemma is you get close to something that's empty, and you think, oh, that's no big deal. I'm going after this guy. And then all of a sudden, they pop up there. But if I move him here, for example, he still has a range of 3 in his attack, and he can hit it. But see, these palm trees causes his strength to be reduced to 4. So those are the kind of things we have to consider. He does get a free move because he's next to the HQ, so we can do something with him. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to move him 1 space, and then maybe next turn I'll move him 1, 2, 3, and then we'll take this for free, and the Japanese won't be any the wiser. Okay, so I do have an artillery that I can barrage or do an attack with, and I don't know what that's going to be. This guy requires a flank, and remember I get a bonus action, so I actually have 4 actions this turn. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an action with this tank, and he can move 3 spaces. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and it's not a problem because this guy's disrupted, so I can ignore the intense fire there. But I'm going to get the tank there so we can flank him. But I don't know if the tank qualifies for the flanking action. Oh. Does it have to be another infantry is what my question is for the flanking action or the flanking requirement. It just says U.S. units. So as long as the tank is next to it, it counts. So we're good. There's another rule, folks, that I do sometimes forget, and when I was checking this section. So let's say he has flanking on him, and then this also says flanking. Then you need to have a 3rd unit here, or here, I mean. You have to flank it in 3 ways. So that's when it gets ridiculous. But anyways, that was another of my actions. So I'm going to put that there to show that I used 2 of the actions. And we do have free moves over here with this HQ unit. And I think I want to lock down stuff. So this guy, he gets to move 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to take that, so that HQ could become a command post if I wanted. And this guy can move 3. I hate going here, because if they reinforce this, then they fire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here instead with a range 2. Although this requires close combat, this disruption marker goes away, and this guy still gets a move. So I can go 1, 2, 3, like so. And I still have 2 actions. I can't move him, but I can move this tank, and this tank is going to go 1, 2, 3 and take that red zone, because we don't want the red zone to be a problem. And the last action, I know I want to close combat those guys. And you can see below is a flank. But we don't have to worry. As long as we're close combating these, I can destroy that depth marker. Like, I can move this one, but I don't think I want to. What I'm going to do is use that artillery that gets the free action, and let's barrage him. So I need to have a brown for it to work, and there's a brown. So that makes me breathe a little easier, knowing that he's not going to attack us. So what am I going to do with my last action is the question. And there's guys I need to get off the beach. There's all kinds of things I can do. I think this guy's on the beach. Let's get him off. So I'm going to spend 1, 2, 3, and he'll get picked up by the command post eventually and be able to actually help out somewhere. All right, so that's all my actions, and we did lock down a few more spots. I can get some garrisons out. We should be good to go. All right, so what do we do? It's turn 16, it's this night turn. So see here, this is a special turn. So we gotta get out the rule book and see what happens on turn 16. Oh. Okay, the overnight turn. So we have to use a special night sequence of play. So during the amphibious phase, we conduct only the following. We move each unit in a water hex to the nearest beach hex. So basically, everybody makes it to a beach. So, because it's nighttime, I guess. So he's in, and it's the nearest beach, by the way. And if they're equidistant, we get to choose. So I'm going to assume that the nearest one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So nearest one is our choice. So I could theoretically put him here. And you know what I'm going to? Because that gives me the, helps me with the flanking requirement. So I'll put him right there. Okay, and I think this thing needed a flame. Nope, he needs flanking and demolitions. There's demolitions there. So, okay. Remove from play all USU artillery units not yet on the map. They're no longer available. So that stinks. There's 2 artillery units that are over here, and they're now out of the game. So that 1 artillery unit that made it in through the event is the only one we have. Place units scheduled to arrive on turn 17 in the beach approach hatches if not already in play. They are in play. They're the ones that actually landed. And then the first event phase we skip. Sorry, I'm reading this and you're not able to see it. Then for the Japanese fire phase, we conduct as in regular sequence of play with the following adjustments. All right, so the first adjustment is if Admiral Shibasaki is alive, we get to do 2 phases. We don't. Japanese fields of fire are limited to just 1 hex. They may only hit US units in adjacent hexes. All M action letters are considered no letter. A unit instructed to perform artillery action conducts no action. For purposes of tracing Japanese communication, US units control only the hex it occupies. Do not conduct Japanese artillery fire. We skip the second event, we skip the engineer, and no support markers are available this turn. That means our HQ doesn't grow in its range, so that sucks too. Then for the US, headquarters have a command range of 0. That means they only command their own unit. US units can only move 1 hex. We can infiltrate, which we haven't done much in this game. Infiltration, by the way, is you're already next to a Japanese unit and you're trying to move to another space that's also next to the same Japanese unit. Our attacks may not include ranged fire. US tanks and artillery cannot barrage. And Japanese communication can be traced through US units. So yeah, that, and then we have this end of turn stuff. So here you can see all elite eliminated units that are face down get, we blindly draw half of them, rounded down, and place them in the reserve box. And we blindly draw 2 of them, then mix together face down all non-elite eliminated units, but not tank. And then blindly draw 2 of them and put them in the reserve box. Flip all revealed Japanese non-tank units and depth markers to their unrevealed side. So this nighttime phase is a bit of a stinker, but I guess it's thematic. So a lot of that stuff doesn't happen until the end of the turn. So let's do, we skip the event and now the Japanese get to go. So we have a double gold, which we know is nothing. There is no double gold out there, and obviously this symbol doesn't mean anything either. Then we have a single green reinforce, but there's no reinforcements available. So green is not going to reinforce, even though there is a spot that qualifies for it. That's this spot right here, but they get nobody. Just a neener. That's all they get. And I don't think there's a green spot out there that can fire. Then there's a brown P, and the P is patrol, which we don't see very often, or if we do see it, they don't get to do it. But I think now they are going to get to do it. But let's look around. This brown unit is disrupted, so all he does is lose his disruption. So nothing really happens there. However, we do have brown units here, and they're all connected through tunnels. So a P action for a coastal unit that has no units in its field of fire is no action. So P, no action. So for all coastal units, all they do is fire. The P really means nothing. But if it's an inland position, they're going to do this thing called patrol. So that's what we got to look at. And so for example, this one here is going to disrupt a US unit within 4 spaces. So we get disrupted there. Those 2 brown units there are each going to get to disrupt somebody within 4 spaces. So we get disrupted here, and also, I'm assuming here because he has more steps. Actually, they only, yeah. Okay, nothing else for them. So they're done, and we ignore their artillery. Right here, their artillery would have fired, but that gets ignored as well. So we skip the engineering phase and HQ phase, and then it's our turn. And there's not a lot we can do. We do get the 3 action markers, of course, but our HQs are not on top of any other unit, so we're not giving anybody free actions this round. So it's a matter of... now, obviously, these guys all get free actions. So what I'm going to do is... oh, I put a hero on that guy. I meant to say he's disrupted. So this guy needs a flamethrower and a demolition, and to be flanked. So we have the demolition, we have the flamethrower, and he's flanked. That would take one of my actions. So one action is we are going to attack this guy, and we are going to destroy that, and we easily do. So, so we do that, and he's still disrupted, but his disruption is going to get lost. Ooh, hold on. On a certain turn number, we actually win battles like this now. Oh yeah, turn 11 this started. I'm so sorry. Some of you have been screaming. So starting on turn 11, which was quite a while ago, if we have double the strength of them, the depth marker and the unit is defeated. So this unit is completely defeated. He had 4 strength, and we had 7. So, Hold on, let me think about this. Did he really have 4 strings? I think he did. Yeah, he did. We only had 7. So he's not defeated. But these other guys, I need to be mindful of that. They get defeated. So anyways, he's disrupted. And at the end of the turn, his disruption is going to go away. These 3 guys, all 3 of them are disrupted. So that's all they do is remove their disruption marker. So it's not like they get to do anything anyways. This guy's going to remove his because it's nighttime. Everybody removes disruption at night. This one is disrupted, so if I tried to attack, I would not have the flanking requirement. So I'm not going to do that. These guys are going to lose their disruption. I mean, we lose our disruption too, because they disrupted us before it was our turn. So now moving over, I still have 2 actions left, but those 2 actions are, one of them is this guy is going to close combat that, for sure. And I'm trying to decide if the tank's going to help. We don't get anything extra if the tank helps. And then, of course, we get another action somewhere. If I wanted to. Disruption doesn't always help. Because they're just going to lose their disruption at the end of the round. So whoever I give the free action to, it's just to move them or to do something of that nature. I think I will just move this. There's an engineer here. They only get to move 1 space, but I'm going to get him out of this spot because with the way these command posts are, he may never get a free move. And since I have an extra action this round, I'm going to at least get him out of there. And then we're going to resolve this. So he's going to get 2 cards for the 2 markers and then 1 more because he's CC. But he doesn't have 4 strength or anything like that. So 3 cards for the Japanese. And this is a brown spot. And then we get 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to... Oh, I can't have the tank join in. That would have been another action. So 3 versus 4. They go first. Everybody needs brown. And thankfully, he can't reinforce because he's already reinforced. And we go. There's no brown. He goes. He has a brown. So we take a hit. We were full strength. That was a really nice unit. And we lose a card, which wouldn't have hit anyways. So now we go, and we hit him. So he lost his depth marker. And he loses his last card, which wouldn't have hit us anyways. And then we have a last card, and we don't hit him. So we are disrupted, and he would be disrupted, but he loses it as part of the night anyways. It would have been nice to finish him off because that unit requires close combat. However, any unit we finish off goes into that pool that goes back into the reserves this turn. So we're at the end of the turn, and so there's one final thing we got to do. We go here, and we count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are in, and then these 5 are out of the game. They're eliminated. So these 5 go into the reserve units pool. And then it says to go over here. Remember these guys that I said were permanently out of the game? I guess they're not permanently out of the game. So these guys were all wimpy anyways. But we grabbed 2 of these. I'm trying not to pay attention to them. So I'm just going to grab this one and that one. And it also goes into the reserve units. And so there's now 7 units in their reserve pool. So they took advantage of the nighttime to get some reserve units. So we got to be extra diligent about that reinforce action and things of that nature. So we are moving to turn 17. It is now November 21st as far as game time goes, and I do have to shuffle the cards, and I also want to get a drink. So I'm going to end this video, and I'll see you in a few. Stay awesome.